Hello, everyone. It's Wednesday, 6th of July, 2022, and we are here today. It's good to have Rodrigo again with us today. It's good to have Elsa
Thanks.
back with us. It's very good. So, and it's time to talk about how does Spiritism understand the universal space. It was a challenging, but we do have some material to connect here. So I want to say feio to my Irish friends, and let's go to our introductions here. So let's start with this lady. We missed her last week. So Miss Rossi, how are you?
Oh, hello, Stevan. I'm okay. Thanks God for that. Hello, Charles, our dear Rodrigo, part of our team, dear Silvia, dear people that are in our room entering slowly. So it's really a great joy to be once again here in this live, spiritual light because as you know, I undergo 12 days under really a nasty moments, or can say a lesson of COVID, how to proceed, how to think, how to behave my spirits. So how to say thanks God for that, even the problem that he was facing. But at the end of the day, that is a lesson to understand better how people are really suffering when they have this virus in their bodies and have to fight for it and fight for it with gratitude towards God. Because if this happens in our life, there's a purpose to make us stronger, to make us enlightened, to make us even understand other people in a different way, with more compassion, more understanding, resilience. So, dear all, may your blessing be with us all during this evening, or each one that is coming, the Monday morning or afternoon. It's okay. Welcome, everyone. Thank you.
Good, good. Miss Gibbons, how are you? Are you playing tennis match? Are you
No, I'm just enjoying watching it. I haven't gone
okay?
down yet. Tomorrow, I think I'm going down too. I just live down, the courts are just down the road from me for the Wimbledon tennis. Used to go a lot more, but it's fun. It's really nice. I'm well, thank you, and glad to see Elsa. Still coming back, but you'll soon be fine again, God willing. And saying hello to everyone and hoping that, find each and every one of you well again to this week as we start another talk. And there's been many things happened this week that have sort of shaken us a bit, but it's part of life, and we pray to God to give us the courage and the strength we need to overcome things. And I'm sure that He will. And praying as well that everything goes well in our meeting today, and that we'll be able to answer the questions appropriately, and that be of help to people who are listening. Alô a todos, boa noite, é um prazer estar aqui com vocês novamente, mais uma semana, e que Deus abençoe a todos e que nós possamos ser uma boa reunião hoje. Bem-vindos. Thank you.
Ça va, Charles?
Bonsoir Steven, bonsoir, bonjour à tous. Très heureux d'être à nouveau parmi vous ce soir pour parler de sujets. Et ce soir, un sujet un peu plus pointu que d'habitude sur cet espace universel et qu'on va essayer de décortiquer un peu pour vous. Hello, good morning, good evening to everyone. Very happy to be here again with you. Happy also that Elsa is back and Rodrigo is with us today for this interesting subject, a little bit complicated, but that we will try to clarify for you.
Thanks. Thanks. So, buenas noches, señor Ortega. ¿Cómo estás?
Buenas noches, Stevan. Buenas noches a todos. Es un placer una vez más estar aquí con este equipo maravilloso. Es bueno tener a Elsa de nuevo con nosotros aquí participando. Te echamos mucho de menos en la última reunión, Elsa, como siempre. Y bueno, hoy el tema es muy interesante porque yo cambiaría el Universal Space by Universal School, because al final es lo que tenemos, ¿no? Dios nos ha dado una escuela para que podamos progresar espiritualmente. Entonces, para mí, transformar space por escuela me parece un buen cambio. Hello, everyone. So thank you so much for being here once again, here with this team and Elsa back. So we missed her last meeting. So the topic today is very nice because it talks about universal space. And I was saying in Spanish that for me, I would change it for universal school, because that's what we do when we are in the universal space. We learn, we progress as a spirit, and hopefully we can live up to the responsibility today of transmitting some knowledge about this wonderful topic. So thank you and be with us.
That's wonderful. So, introduction done. Munir, my friend. Good evening, my friend. So,
Hi, Munir.
let me share my screen. Yes, and let's roll here.
Is universal space infinite or limited? Infinite. If it had limits, what would be beyond them? Suppose we were to imagine a limit to space. No matter how far out our thought may place it, reason tells us that there must still be something beyond it, and so on and so forth to infinity. Even if there were only an absolute void beyond that limit, there would still be space, because what appears to you to be a void is actually occupied by matter that cannot be detected by your senses or instruments. From the divine omnipotence follows the consequent omnipresence of God, which leads us to the impossibility of conceiving any really empty place in the universe.
So, tricky one today. Munir, if you say something here is not according to scientific way, please speak up and guide us. So, how to start? Let's start with an expression we say, first things first. We know that God created the universe, and the universe, it is infinite. It is composed of a material world. In other words, it is what we can see. It is composed by spiritual world, things we cannot see with our physical eyes. Okay? Also, we have animated beings like animals, plants, incarnated, and all these, and also inanimated beings, which is water, air, stones, metals, etc. And the stars, which is other planets or not planets, are moving in this space. Okay, so we have the sun, we have comets, we have natural satellites like the moon to the earth, and so forth and so forth. Let's go back to the past, in which they believe the earth, it was the center of the universe. Everything, it was surrounding us. So then they created the theory of geocentrism by Nicolas Copernicus in Prussia in 1453. And it goes up to 1543, when our friend Galileo Galilei contradicted that, saying, wait a minute, the earth is not the center of the universe. We turn around the sun. And this caused a lot of problems. Even Galileo had to deny this because they have some problems with the Church Inquisition. And what this created, what Galileo just said to us, it was a drop in the ocean. But this opened up our mind, opened up a lot of things for us. We discovered the translational movements. We discover other energies, other forces, and so this was moving. But the question which we remain to ourselves is how it was created, how it was composed. And the answer is simple: by God's will. He said, let there be light, and the light was made. And the Spiritism clarified that worlds are formed by condensation of matter disseminated through the space. Condensation is one of the phases in which matter changes from gas to a liquid state. And a fully formed world can disappear and spread it to the space again. And this can reunite again and form a new world. So everything transforms, everything moves. This was my part. And I consider my part the easiest part. Let's go to our friends here. And I like to start with my friend Rodrigo, because he's our guest and permanent volunteer here. Rodrigo, can we say that cosmic fluid, which is all this matter, it is the divine plasma?
Yes, we can say that. So we learn with the spirits that God created two things mainly in his creation. So spirit, or the spiritual principle, and matter. So those are the two principles, or the two main things he created. And the matter is, how can I say, the instrument of the spirit to evolve or to progress. So is the relation with matter makes us progress as spirits. That's why I said that we are immersed in this school called universe, which is composed by matter. But what we learn with the spirits in the spirits book is that associated with the matter, we have the cosmic fluid. The cosmic fluid is a tool, let's say this way, which enables the spirit to interface with matter. So without this tool, the spirit wouldn't be able to interface or to manipulate matter for the progress. So I have an example I use, at least what helped myself to learn that, or to understand that. If you have how can I say, a screw or something which you need to put that in a wood. So if you get your hand and you punch it, you won't be able to do that, because the matter of our hands, it's softer, or it's with a different density than the one that, or the thing that you need to put inside the wood. But instead of doing that, if you get a hammer which has a density, a matter density, which enables it to be, how can I say, to create an impact of this this material, let's say this way, this metal material, then you can make it enter in the wood. So the cosmic fluid is this tool that the spirit uses like a hammer to manipulate matter. That's how, for instance, we had the physical phenomenon of the tables, the floating tables, which enabled us to have all the spiritist information we have so far. So, having said that, this universal fluid, or this cosmic fluid, is in everything. It penetrates everything. The spirits, they say, actually, André Luiz says that in the evolution in 2 words, that this is a kind of, the comparison is as if we would be in a ballfish, and we would be immersed in this universal fluid, and this is how it works. Okay, so, and it's interesting because when you were saying that about condensation, so as well in André Luiz in Evolution in 2 words, they say very specifically. I'll try to read it here because it's very interesting what André Luiz said. So the superior intelligences with a pressure spiritually conducted of electromagnetic waves, so they use that to reduce the intraatomic space with no movement loss, and then it densifies the nuclear mass, and then with this dense nuclear mass, we have the planets, we have the stars, we have everything that we know as matter. So that's exactly how the spirits, more technically speaking, they use this universal fluid. Of course, we are talking about the big co-creation. When we talk about this co-creation, we are talking about pure spirits. When we go to the spiritual scale referred by Allan Kardec in the Spirits book, we know that there are pure spirits which are capable to use their will to do this creation, or to put this pressure in the universal fluid, the cosmic fluid, to turn it, or to reduce, or to densify, or to condensate it, to turn it to be a planet, or whatever matter we see. So this is, and André Luiz mentioned that in this Evolution in 2 words in a very specific way. So that's how it works. So, and of course, what does it serve for? So we are here to learn. So they create planets like schools that we need to be at, and to learn and to progress according to our progress, spiritually speaking, morally and intellectually. So we have words, we have stars, and what the spirits, they say as well, or André Luiz mentioned as well in the Evolution in 2 words, is that each galaxy, or each place in the universe where we have the planets, when we have the stars, there's a central point. Let's say the sun in our galaxy. So we have the sun, and then we gravitate, because there's always a center, gravitational center, which maintains this gravity, or maintains this pressure aligned. That's why when we have any difference or any change on this, we create a huge imbalance in our how can I say, in our world and in the universe. So everything is interlinked. Everything is interconnected because we are all in this cosmic fluid. So that's why we say it's divine fluid, because one thing very interesting that the spirits say is that although we have pure spirits, we cannot create anything. The only creator in existent creator is God. So what we can do is we can manipulate the cosmic fluid to learn and to progress. And of course, according to our evolution, our progress as spirits, we learn much more and we have more freedom to manipulate this universal fluid. But we can never create. So the spirits, we do not create anything. We can manipulate what has been created by God, which is this divine fluid. That's why we call divine, because it's been created by God. It's a gift that we received from God, like let's say, I think I don't know if the analogy is good, but it's a kind of our toy. Okay, it's our car, it's our house, it's what we have in our hands to use and to live and to progress and to interact among us and to learn how to be to be more fraternal, more solidary. So that's how it is. I have done some research in the internet about the word plasma, okay, which is very interesting. When we go to the internet and we see the word plasma, it's defined by science that plasma is the force, one of the four fundamental states of matter. So plasma is, so we have a solid, liquid, and gas. Plasma is not one of them. Plasma is another fundamental state of matter. Okay, so it has a significant portion of charged particles, ions, and electrons. So this presence of this portion of charged particles is what differentiates it from the other three states of matter. So it's very interesting. So this science says that this is the most abundant form of ordinary matter in the universe, associated with stars and the sun. So this is normally associated with stars and the sun, and it's composing 99% of everything which exists in the universe. That's what science is telling us. It's not spiritism. So the presence of charged particles, which are electrically conductive and is responsive to electromagnetic fields. So we can see that, let's say, the science presence in our plasma TVs. But this is one of the uses we are still we know how to how can I say the use we give to plasma. But imagine that what we are reading here, it's very close to what we have as defined by the spirits of this cosmic fluid. So this word plasma, or the plasma, was first identified by whom? William Crookes, who was a spiritist. We all know that, a great spiritist disseminator and a great scientist, Sir William Crookes. So when he did his lecture about radiant matter, and of course these all developed a lot after that. So this is all to say that yes, this is a divine plasma. This is this tool that God gave us, this gift that enable us as spirits to progress, to evolve. And of course, what we need to evolve mostly is immoral, because that's what makes us interact among us fraternally and with solidarity. But we could not do that without all this let's say, the science behind that. So when we talk about universal fluid, we are talking, oh, this is science. This is not linked tomorrow. So where, but without that, without this creation, we could not evolve. So we cannot, as spirits, perceive things, develop our feelings, develop our sensations, develop our progress, suffer, have pain, have joy, happiness. Everything matter is what enable the spirit to feel. And that's why it is very important for us, because without feelings, we do not progress, morally speaking. I think, I don't know if I took a lot of time of my time, but I think that's what I had to contribute with this portion. And thank you for the question, Stevan.
Thank you, Rodrigo. Yes, you remind someone very important, Sir William Crookes, an amazing contributor to the Spiritism movement in the UK. But before we proceed, I have to fix something here. I said at the beginning that Nicolaus Copernicus was the creator of the theory of geocentrism. I'm completely wrong. He is the one who contradicts this theory. Okay, he is the creator of the theory of heliocentrism. Okay, and Galileo was a supporter of this theory. Okay, so please forgive me, Copernicus, forgive me, Galileo, but I need to fix this. So, before we move on, we do have a question here from Nancy, and she's saying, as we are immersed in the cosmic fluid, is the so-called dark matter the universal fluid itself, or just something originated from it?
Good question.
Yeah.
In the question 236, the Spirit's book, Kardec had made a huge comment regarding empty space or universe, etc. And it, for me, is one of the most important comments about the universe that Kardec made. I think that can answer what Nancy is talking about, dark matter. The dark matter for some scientists are empty space, that is dark matter, but they don't know what dark matter is. I remember Silvia, months ago, she was talking about the dark matter, the discovery, some scientists talking about. But quickly, if I make myself in the middle of this question, sorry, but when Kardec said the comment, she said, nothing in nature is useless. Each thing has its purpose, its destination. There is no empty space. Even if the scientists nowadays, they really don't know exactly what dark matter is, there is a useful things in the universe, because everything is inhabited and life expands itself everywhere. Thus, during the long series of ages that elapsed before the appearance of humankind on the earth, during the long periods of the transition attested to by the geological layers, and even before the formation of the first organic beings upon that formless mass, there was no absence of life in that arid chaos in which the elements were being mixed together. So for me, it's clear that when or where the dark matter is, there are life. There are something useful in the universe. Yes.
Great.
The
Thank
Spirit's
you,
just
Elsa.
complementing a little bit, Elsa. The Spirit says, say in the Spirit's book as well, that there's no void. So whenever we see something that seems to be a void, there is something there that we are simply not able to understand or to detect. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And
And
as
one thing that I would like just to complement, yeah.
Plasma, that according to what we read in the Spiritism, is the breathing of the Creator, God. So we are the plasma of God. We are the breath of God. So God is incessantly creating, breathing. So everything is in expansion. While we are talking 10 minutes here, the universe is already have more trillions of stars created by God. So that is it's too much for our mind, our thoughts, no, our conscience to understand that. But that is the real thing. It's not a tiny grain in the universe. That is our planet, né? Have useful things in the universe.
And one thing that I would like just to complement, if you allow me, so that when we talk about the definition of plasma by science, we see they speaking about the important thing about plasma, which is the electromagnetic conduction. So, and we see André Luiz saying that the spirits, they use electromagnetic pressure in order to condensate matter and to create a world. So look at the correlation and how we are progressing to learn a bit more about the cosmic fluid through science.
I would like to make a point as well, if I may, please. I think, Nancy, if you wanted to have a more clarification on this, read the Spirit's book, chapter 1, Properties of Matter. And I think in question 30, actually, he gives an answer. The Spirits give an answer. When Kardec asked him, is matter form of one element or several elements? And the answer of the Spirit was, of one primitive element. The bodies which you regard as simple are not really elementary. They are transformations of the primitive matter. So primitive matter, what he says here, the primitive element is dark energy, which composes 76% of the universe. Dark matter is 23% of the universe, which what he calls here, that is already a transformation, is not anymore a simple elementary one. And everything that we see as matter, touchable, that we can touch and see, it forms only 4% of the universe. So dark energy is the very breath of God in the universe. It is what the universe is made of, the dark energy and dark matter. And I think he calls as well the breath of God. I think Elsa mentioned that as well. But that's it. One primitive element, dark energy, what you call it now. And regard the not elementary is already transformation of the primitive, the elementary matter. So that's dark matter, 22% of the universe. And everything that we see from the least molecule to the end that we perceive and touch is only 4% of the universe. So I think if you read that chapter in the Spirit's book, you have all the explanations you can. Sorry, that's it.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. Mr. Kempf, it's your turn, my friend. And in the book, Exilados de Capella, unfortunately, don't have the book in English, so I will not translate the title, unfortunately, but the book is called Exilados de Capella. We have the following statement. Entities as interpreters, or rather executors of the Creator's thoughts, make use of the word, which is thought outside of God. And though the words say they shape thought into matter, the force of the word within the laws acts on matter, condensing it, creating forms, frameworks for the individual manifestation of life. Could you give us a notion on how God's will do not interfere in our free will?
Thank you for the question, Stevan. So again, we are touching quite some complex subjects here. I would answer on your question that God's will is to give humans free will. Okay? And as per this very simple statement, we can deduct that since God is giving us a free will, he will not interfere in our free will, otherwise he would be contradicting himself. Okay?
Yes.
So God gives us a free will, so we are free to use this free will for good or for wrongs or for evil. And this is a characteristic of human, and which differentiates inclusive the human from the animals, because the animals, we cannot say that they are free will on the same, at least not on the same degree as humans yet. They may come to it through their evolution, but so far as per our current knowledge, the only beings which have this free will given by God are the humans. Okay, so that's why it's like the people who are believing in miracles. You know, what is a miracle? It could be an exception to natural laws or to God's laws. Okay, if God is perfect, the God's laws and natural laws are perfect. So why should they need exceptions? The magnificence of God is proven by the fact the law of matter are perfect and that they do not need exceptions. Because all which is called miracle by mankind, we have already example of a lot of miracles from the past, which today are perfectly understood by science, like, I don't know, thunderstorm or whatever. So the miracle, if we think about it fundamentally, cannot exist. So God's laws and natural law are perfect, so they do not need exceptions, and there are no contradictions in them. Okay, if we find a contradiction somewhere, it's because we understood something wrong somewhere. It cannot be. Okay, so that's for this question. Now, commenting also a little bit about this dark matter, dark energy. We must when I was younger, it was, by the way, not 96%. It was less. Okay, because the models with the equations from the physics trying to explain what we observe in the universe, remembering here that what we observe in the universe, what science observes in the universe so far, is only matter, and not yet the spirit, or not even this universal cosmic fluid or semi-matter. So this leads us to understand that this dark matter or dark energy is matter. So universal cosmic fluid is generating the matter through its numerous transformation, through as the divine plasma used by the spirits in order to condense them into matter, into tangible matter or intermediate density of matter, like as the perispirit or our spiritual body. Okay, so it cannot be associated. So the dark matter is not the universal cosmic fluid. It is indeed the second part of the second answer from Nancy, which is correct to my understanding. It is one of the transformation of the multiple transformation of the universal cosmic fluid. Okay, so then I mean, it's really when you see when they talk into Exilados da Capella in this book, that there is the word. What is the word? The problem is the concepts we have today in science, and even the vocabulary we have, is not foreseen to explain things which are outside of the matter and outside of the known world. Okay, all these concepts and the vocabulary associated to it needs to be created. The models need to be created to understand better what is this universal cosmic fluid, what is the perispirit, what is this spiritual matter, which is not tangible to us in the normal state, and so on. What we need also to conceptualize are much more things. And science is indeed progressing in this way. Does the universe have a beginning? Yes, I think today it's the big majority of the scientists admit that there was a beginning of the universe, something like 14.5 or 15 billion years ago. Okay, whether it's called Big Bang or wherever else, and the science is even with the current equations coming very close to the Big Bang, not to the Big Bang itself. Why? Because there the equations do not work anymore. They are diverging and they cannot explain what happened exactly at the moment of the Big Bang. But we know already that 10 minus 7 seconds after the Big Bang, there were some particles formed like electrons, and then a little bit later protons, neutrons, and so on. And this was tuned in a it was deeply fine-tuned, because if we change a little bit any of these parameters, we would not be here to comment these things today. The universe would not have existed, you know. So more and more the scientists are coming to the conclusion that there is something extremely intelligent behind all these things, and that it is the probability is almost nil. I mean, if it's not nil, you see numbers like 10 elevated at minus 150. So incredible small probability that this is coming just by chance like this. And this is, you told about Galileo Galilei and Copernicus and Giordano Bruno and so many others who have been burnt into the, how do we tell that in English, fogueira, into the fires, because they were contradicting the religious beliefs. But when you analyze what happened even later, even in the 20th century, during the Russian Revolution or during the Nazi period or other periods, you had also a lot of scientists who were inducing the necessity of the existence of God, for instance, who have been prosecuted and even killed or sent to the Gulag or whatever. So it was the case 500 years ago, as you told, Stevan, but it is still the case today. So we still see the huge resistance and the huge conceptual blockings that exist in the human being in order to progress into opening wider our vision out of the tangible or Einsteinian matter, the one which is explained by the equations and putting in line with what we observe in the universe, where we need to introduce this dark matter or this dark energy in order to have the fit, you know. Okay, but now let's see what is it correctly. So this is the duty of science, and we as spiritists encourage these researches and these reflections on matter, knowing that what the spirits gave us in very few questions, not so much. You talked about these questions 30, Silvia, or the question about the universal space are 35 and 36. So you see it's in the same question. They clearly told us there is one element which is at the source of all what is existing in the universe. It is this universal cosmic fluid. Science is, in my view, still very far away to reach that. And there is also different ways of condensation of this universal cosmic fluid into matter, which is this so-called semi-matter or etherealized matter or quintessentialized matter, or however we call it. Again, the words are missing, which is very simply matter, which is not at the same degree of density as the tangible matter we know today, limited by the velocity of light and with all these properties that the physics knows. And then the discussion also about void is extremely interesting. The spirits, they say there is no void. And what can you read in some recent scientific books when they explain, for instance, this entropy, when you see the development of the embryo after the fecundation? You have one, what's the name in English? Trunk cell or stem cell?
Stem
Sorry?
cells.
Stem cells. Yes.
Stem cells.
Stem cells. They are all identical at the beginning, okay? And all of a sudden you see that they are developing in 3 dimensions to make the arms, the body, the fingers, and so on. They are also specializing to make the bones, the muscles, the heart, the brain, the pulmons, or all the organs of the body. What is the law of entropy, the second principle of thermodynamics teaching us? It should not go this way, it should go to the other way. It means the disorder is always growing, the entropy is always growing. And here we see something which is going the opposite way. So this can only be explained through some form of energy or some biological model, which is pushing and driving this development in an intelligent matter. Okay, and what are the today specialized of physics saying? There is some information or some energy coming from the void. And they call it void. Why? Because void is all what is not matter. Okay, so the spirit or the perispirit or whatever, and even the universal cosmic fluid is in the void because it's not matter itself. It is only matter when it is condensed and transformed into matter, and not as an absolute. You see, so this is showing the huge complexity of this subject, the huge difficulty to talk about it because we don't have the vocabulary, and the huge work which still has to be done in order to conceptualize and to modelize all this. I don't know if I answered the answer very clearly. Maybe I went a little bit out of your direct question, commenting a little bit the other aspects linked to the subject of today.
No, it was perfect, my friend. It was perfect. Also, we have some clarification here from Muni. Dark matter, dark energy are propositions by physicists trained the way it is supposed today's matter to be the UCF in its primitive
form, yes. Universal cosmic fluid. So I fully agree with this answer of Munir. It's what I tried to explain, but he expressed it in, I think, in a clearer way than I was able to do.
Yeah. In of the day, what is not God and the spirit is a byproduct of the universal cosmic fluid.
Correct.
Okay. So
that's a good way. That's a good, how can I say, skill of summarizing, Munir. So very good.
Congratulations, Munir. Thank you.
Well, he's a physicist, isn't he?
Sure.
He gives the right answer.
A spiritualist physicist. And that's what's important.
Yes, very important. A spiritist physicist. But I think also, I mean, in the Spirit's book, he does say that this primitive element, they are all matter, but cannot be perceived by our eyes or our instruments. And we are still studying, I mean, they are still studying about this dark energy, but they know exist. They know exist. It's not so-called. It is a reality. It's just that we have not yet being able to find, because our instruments and in accordance to what some of the scientists researching it said, because they are studying it within the paradigm of materialism, so they cannot define, but they just found as well that this dark energy is actually pure light. It's only dark because we cannot perceive with our instruments. So one day it will be discovered, and I always find my heart fills with joy that the Spirit's book so far ahead of the scientists. So you have a question for me, Stevan?
Yeah,
you're very blurred. I can't see you very well.
Your internet is
internet or CPU.
Yeah, probably.
But we can hear you.
So, is the creation of spirit permanent, or did it only take place in the hour of time?
Silvia, I think you can
I
Elsa?
cannot
Yeah.
hear you, but I have the question, so I can
Yeah,
read
if
it.
you
Yeah,
don't mind, you
because you
can read,
disappear. I
please.
cannot hear you at all. Sometimes you go, but I have the question written down. That
Rephrase
is,
it, please, so that everyone can hear it.
yeah, so I will read the question that you proposed to me. Is the I sort of moved a little bit, yeah? Is the creation of a spirit a constant, or has it only happened at the beginning of time? That was the question. And in question number 8 of the Spirit's book, when Kardec asks about I'm sorry, I beg your pardon. If the creation of a spirit, and it says the creation of spirits, it's always going on, always happening. God has never ceased to create. So, I mean, this is the answer to the question. This is very much to say. It continues. It's always, God is always creating. And the spirits will everything. And also, continuing the next question, said God creates spirits as he does everything else by his will. However, the spirits explained how this is done, the way God does it, is still a mystery for them and for us. And another question just wasn't proposed, but I think it's convenient to say, when Kardec asked the spirits, was there an end to the duration of spirits? And their answer was, we tell you that the existence of spirits has no end. That's all we can say on the subject at present. So Stevan always gives me questions that the spirit says, that's all there is, you don't know anymore, and we can't tell you anymore, even if we knew. But I think this is very important because, going to the conversation from before, creation is happening all the time. Spirits are being created all the time, and everything is changing, it's transforming. We know how stars, they live, they blow up when they go very, very old. They go supernovas, and from the dust, and that creates new planets are created, new solar systems are created. So from death and destruction, new worlds coming, new life coming. And in the same way is our lives. We live, we are born fresh and full of health and full of vitality. We live our lives when we get to a certain point in our lives, old age, of vitality, a vital principle is finished. And our body dies, we go back to the spiritual world, and where we learn more things and we use our life. So it's always this, there is an end, there is destruction, and there is creation. And that's what happens. And I think I was reminded in reading this, what Jesus said. He said, my Father works and I work. So creation is all the time. My Father works all the time and I work. And I think that's what we are. The important thing is to work, is to serve, is to learn the principles why we came here, and to use this to create a better world for ourselves and for others. Because nothing that we create for others, we create always for ourselves anyway, in the first instance. So basically, that's the answer to the question, Stevan. The
Yeah,
spirits are
it is
always
a little bit
created
better
and they
now.
never end. It's
Yeah.
perfection, it's development, it's progression. So that's it.
Yeah, okay. Thank you, my dear. Elsa, just to finalize here, we already kind of comment your question, but let me do it. The spirits teach us that all worlds are inhabited by corporeal beings appropriate to the physical constitution of each globe. Even if terrestrial science has not proved the existence of life on other planets, nothing proves that living beings cannot exist with bodies appropriate to other worlds, other places, or different from the planet Earth. So the question is, are we alone?
Never. And also, today, this afternoon, when I was reading the questions, etc., and reading the Spirit's book, the first part and the second part, and every time that I read the Spirit's book, I am amazed. I am amazed how Kardec and the spirits brought to us before science so many information that is still nowadays we have in the spirit's book information, but science didn't prove yet. One of them that make me, I took three here. The spirits teach us that all worlds are inhabited by corporeal beings. The spirits teach us that all worlds are inhabited by corporeal beings appropriate to the physical constitution of each globe. I think Rodrigo mentioned in the beginning. Even if terrestrial science has not proved the existence of life on other planets, nothing proves that living beings cannot exist with bodies appropriate to other places different from planet Earth. And in the question 39 that Silvia mentioned, says, all that we can say and the only thing you can comprehend in that words are formed by the condensation of the matter scattered throughout space. So, and beautifully, Munir, as a doctor and physicist, explained very well that nothing is empty. Dark matter or other kind of matter that he wrote there are the third element of the universe, né? Because God, Spirit, and the fluid cosmic universal cosmic fluid. So we know that the entire universe, or multi-universes now that people are saying, are really populated. But we have no instruments, material instruments, physical instruments to detect that. But in spiritual world, that is the first place from where we came from. There, of course, they have all these instruments and above that all in different worlds. Né? Even in our solar, we have instruments there that now is appearing here as Zoom, as internet, etc. already have there. So imagine in another planets, the more evolved ones, né? How different things could be. So the reproduction of the species né, is in everywhere. We have our kind of species on our planet according to our environment, né, the way that we breathe, we use air, etc. But of course, it's not only our planet, the universe populated for sure. We come and go.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. Yes, we are never alone. We will never be alone. That's a good way. So I just summarize Munir's answer and then put in the comments. So now we have the comments in the Facebook as well, because our friends who are in Facebook, they are complaining they didn't see what Munir wrote. So Munir, I did this in order to make your comment kind of available to our friends in the Facebook as well. So let's go to our announcements. Thank you all. I know today was kind of tricky, but well, very good in terms of knowledge for ourselves, and see how far we are how far away we are from Kardec's mind. You know, we are. I don't know. I don't have words to say. So next week, my friends, we will have pursuing cure of our souls.
No, Stevan
Yeah.
is another one with Vanessa Anceloni. Sorry.
Okay. So next week we have Dr. Vanessa Celoni with us. Thank you. So let's jump this. Okay. So don't forget our friend, professor, brother. Well, all this. There is no adjective that explain Divaldo. He will give us a lecture, hopes and consolations. This will take place this Saturday at 6 p.m. UK time. This lecture is part of the European tour. So in the other countries, we will have the same a talk recorded by him. So this record will be um, will have subtitles in English, so you can watch it. So please don't miss it. It is this Saturday, 6 p.m. London time, with subtitles in English. Okay? So on the 17th of July, 4 p.m. London time, from 4 to 6, we will have a talk by Eleomar Borgo, Mediumship in Childhood and Youth. This is a wonderful and interesting topic. The seminar will be in Portuguese and in English. Okay, English subtitle.
Subtitle in English. Yeah.
Yes, subtitle in English. So please join, and this will be a very good information about mediumship in the childhood. And our standard programs every Wednesday, 4 p.m., a coffee break with Kardec Munir, our physicist and spiritist, is giving us a wonderful explanation about the spiritism, about Kardec, and also with the touch of the science. It's amazing. Every Saturday, 10:30 a.m., we do have our online course on the Medium's book, and the facilitators are Guilherme Dias, Munir Gariba, and Charles Kempf. And every other Tuesday, we do have a show, Time to Talk, led by Guilherme Dias and Rafael Caldas, and the study of the book No Solar. And again, I know it's very difficult for everyone. Doesn't matter in which part of the world you are, but you can imagine the donations are kind of very low at this moment for any reasons. I don't need to point them out here, but
Please,
if
please.
you have time and availability, please, we ask you to donate to the campaign High Five. You go to www.kardec.org.uk/high five, and you can do any kind of donation, and these donations will be sent to two institutions in Brazil. One is Grupo Sheila in Salvador, and the other one is Instituto Mutirão in Curitiba, Brazil. That's it from us today. Thank you all for your time, your inputs. Apologies for my internet not being consistent today, but looks like at the end everything is fine. Yeah, so it's good to have you here with us, Elsa. Yeah, we missed you. A speedy recovery. I hope you have 100% next time. Charles, as usual.
Take
Wonderful
care.
insights. Rodrigo,
Merci beaucoup.
thank you for
Thank
Brooks'
you.
explanation. Silvia, easy
Thank
questions
you.
for you as always. So
Thank you. This thing
everyone.
about the thing, I go to lectures at the Royal Institution, and I saw Professor Brian Greene, who is the exponent of the string theory, and he was talking about dark matter there. So something I read a bit in the New Scientist and the American Scientific. So I keep up with those things.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, have a good week. Elsa, get better. Take easy, rest. Okay, put your feet up for a minute.
Thank you.
Tchau,
Boa semana a
God bless.
todos.
Bye,
Uma semana abençoada. Tchau.
Tchau,
Tchau,
boa
tchau.
semana.